Hockey fans, we are here with another NCDC draft pick here, and an NHL draft pick, a guy who, all season long I said, just take a chance on this guy. Just give him the opportunity at the next level, and he will pay dividends. He's a take your lunch pail to work kind of hockey player, puts in the work at both ends. He's a two-way forward and a guy who we had an absolute blast getting to cover in Hub City, Tampa this year. It is Shane Lachance. Shane, the Edmonton Oilers take you in the 6th round. Congrats. How you feeling?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Obviously, it was a surreal feeling. I mean, surrounded by just close family. That's it. So it was just a great feeling. Definitely relieved after a while, after sitting there all day. But it was a great feeling.
And that's a question I have for you where we start here. The longest draft in history. They've taken everything. It used to be in the building. We talked to our friends in the scouting industry. It used to go quick, right? It used to run through because everybody wanted to get out of there. Now they're all in the comfort of their homes. They're at their own arenas, taking their time with the draft. So you're sitting there all day long. You're waiting. When the call finally comes, when you see it pop up on NHL Network, that pick of Shane Lachance, what's the reaction? Who's around you in the room?
So I was on the couch. I wasn't really looking at the TV at the time. And one of my buddies just jumped up and started yelling, and then so everyone reacted to that. And then obviously I knew from there. I didn't even see that it was Edmonton until a good 30 seconds after the pick, because everyone was just swarming me and stuff. But it was a pretty cool feeling. Just close family and friends were there. So it was a good feeling after sitting there all day. Probably should have waited a little bit to start watching it, but might have started a little too early, but it was good. It was after that happened. I mean, obviously you forgot about all the waiting around before. So,
hey, come on, scouts and teams. I'll tell you what, these organizations, they look at everything, and you should be watching earlier. That tells you that we have to value ourselves at the value we are. And I look at you as a steal for this Oilers organization. I think it's a great pick. Obviously, in hockey, we don't toot our own horn, so I'll do that for you. And we look at it here, Shane. I mean, if I'm an Edmonton Oiler fan, you have all these bloggers out here writing about draft picks. We had the same thing with Chase Clark from the Hitmen, who got taken by the Capitals just before you. What are they getting? What is this Oiler fan base getting in a Shane Lachance? What are they going to see day in and day out from you?
I think most importantly, I'm a hardworking kid. I mean, come to the rink, like you have a job to do, and just be dedicated to, reaching that goal for the day. And whether that may be, play this role, play that role, whatever it may be for the day. I think just kind of be flexible and come in, with an open mind and ready to learn and ready to get better each day.
Now, it sounds like you had an incredible support system around you, and everybody knows that, the game of hockey from the midgets all the way up to the NHL, that support system is so important. So who are the people that maybe had an impact on your hockey career the most, and what parts did they have to play?
I think obviously two people that come to mind, I think for everybody at first, is my dad and my grandfather. Obviously coming from huge hockey backgrounds, they played a big role of, teaching me a lot about the game. When watching a game with my dad, he's always picking out things like, oh, did you see that? Watch this play or whatever. And I think that's huge for me to be able to be around guys who have been in the hockey industry for a while now. As well as I think my mom played a huge part in it. I think, my dad was away when I was younger, doing his job scouting. I think it was big for me, for my development, for my mom to be able to take me to all those early morning games and practices, late nights at the rink, sitting in the car with my brothers, waiting for me to come out to the car. I think that's often overlooked, but I think Sheila deserves a lot of credit too.
Now, for the young player at home, right? The young kid at home who wants to be Shane Lachance. He wants to see his name pop up on the big screen, see that pick from the Edmonton Oilers or any of these NHL squads. Give us a glimpse at a week in the life of Shane Lachance. What kind of work are you putting in? What goes into creating the hockey player you've become in terms of that day-to-day?
Yeah, I think in the summer, especially this summer, I'm, lifting in the morning with my older brother every morning around 7 a.m. And then after that, we'll go to the rink, skate for about an hour or two, and then after that, kind of come home, relax a little bit, get something to eat, And then, after that, usually just either hang around or, shoot some pucks outside, work on my shot a lot. And then, try to have some fun too, play golf a lot. And, because you always had to have room for that too. I mean, never want to have like the same set in stone day. It's fun, but it gets to be a lot if you're, doing the same thing day in and day out. So it's good to change it up a little bit.
Say that louder for some of the youth parents in the back, right? That's something that we always try to remind parents. We all want to create the next Gretzky or McDavid, right? But a lot of it comes into varying it all and being able to get out to the golf course or whatever you love to do. We all have to have that outlet in a different world. Lucas, before we let Shane go, do you have anything else left for Shane?
Well, I mean, first of all, everyone's got to make time for golf. 110%. I think, Dan, you and I have got that on lock. But Shane, my last question for you here is, the big moments, and it hits everybody differently, I think. You've played it cool so far, but has the moment sunk in and passed? Do you think it hasn't hit you yet? I mean, where are you now a few days and weeks post-draft?
I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's hit me yet. I think I was really excited right after it happened, but then things kind of calmed down and my phone was blowing up a lot. And I think, I was kind of like in a fog almost. But I think, one thing that would have hit me hard is if, I go to development camp and be able to put on that jersey and wear that equipment. I think is something that's, oh, this is it. So I think that would be something if we had one of those this year, obviously, because being in Canada and COVID, I think, they had to shut that down. But I think, over the next couple of weeks, when people start talking about it and start mentioning it, I think, it's going to come into fruition. And I think, once I think my name gets out there a little more, it's going to feel more jubilous for me. So.
Great word choice. This guy's going to take our job. Years over, throwing words like jubilee and jubilous out there. Shane Lachance, I'm telling you right now, Oilers fans, a steal here in my mind. I saw him going even earlier. This guy, take a chance on him, baby. He's going to score pucks. He's going to play it at both ends. Hard worker through and through. Shane, congratulations again. Go back to celebrate. You got a couple more weeks till you got to hit the ice.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.